Hey, what is going on, guys? It's time for another premium Bandai HD review. Here is the HGUC Todesritter. So it'd be the same Missing Link series as like the Pale Rider, for example, the different versions of the Pale Rider. This one, though, very cool, super unique design. The shield, I'm just now realizing, is basically like a Bao shield, isn't it? It's very similar to that. But it's a really cool design, and I really like this one. It's got a ton of gimmicks and features and everything like that in there as well, too. So it's going to be very awesome. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So on the front of the box here, it's your typical premium Bandai style box art there with just the all in the black and white anyway, or a monochrome color, I guess I should say, not black and white. It's blue and white, monochrome. And it got an action pose there in the back showing it with its beam sabers in hand, and also the mega beam sabers there on like these little like sub arms there on the backpack, all very cool. So again, like I said, there's a lot of different cool gimmicks that you can do with this kit, but otherwise around here on the box, not too much else to see there. So let's go ahead and get it popped open. Inside we got some wires there along with all of our parts, but if we dig down underneath all of that, we've got our instruction manual here. So it is going to be a completely new instruction manual for this, of course. There's our parts list down there at the bottom, and in background here at the end there's a color guide in there as well too, if you wanted to get the exact color mixtures. That's all there in Japanese and in English as well. The rest of the manual, I mean, is all just the construction. There's no frills in here, obviously nothing in color, so there's nothing really too interesting to see with this. Let's just go ahead and check out the runners. Alright, starting off with the foil sticker sheet, and it's pretty extensive, so we got a ton of stickers here, but remember we've got different versions of the stickers for whether you want it in Hades mode or not. So basically half this, and that's all the stickers that you would really use. That's still going to be a lot of stickers though, unfortunately, with this one. And here are our two wires that we're going to have in there for the gimmick. Again, we'll see that here in just a little bit. And our beam saber effect parts here in yellow, you've got one set of SB13 for 144 scale beam saber effect parts, and then one set of SB1 for 100 scale beam saber effect parts. So those are going to be different depending on which ones you're using. And then PC001 for our polycaps here in gray. Our A runner is here in 4 colors. You got some light gray at the top for the gun, some white down here for some vent parts, our light blue main color, and then our dark blue secondary color down here. Really hate to see that this shield is all molded together. There's no color separation with that at all, unfortunately. Runner B is going to be all of our other light blue armor parts for this. Then we've got a bunch of those on there. We've got 2 of this B runner. Runner C is this one little piping bit here in lighter gray. And then runner D we've got 2 of here as well. This is going to be some of our dark blue parts for the kit. And then we've got some more of those here on the E runner as well, including some large parts there for the backpack. Runner F1 is in a medium gray color here. We've got a bunch of different joint parts and detail parts, things like that. Then we've got runner F2, which is a copy of this part of the runner with some little bit different parts over there on this side. Runner G is a few more little white vent detail parts. We've got 2 of this G runner. And then we've got runners H1 and H2. Interesting that they put them on different number runners. Why it wouldn't just be 2 of the H1 runner, but I guess just to make it easier for you. So you can choose between which color you want for the visor, whether you want it in Hades mode or not, red or in light blue. So there you have it, guys, another full box of completely new parts here for an exclusively premium Bandai kit, unfortunately, but it does look like there's a ton of detail on there. Everything looks really cool, so I'm really looking forward to getting this one all built up. Let me go ahead and do that, and then we'll see how it looks. Alright guys, so here is the kit all built up, and it is pretty massive and impressive. There's a lot of stuff going on there, especially on the backpack, and although it is pretty back heavy with all that backpack going on there, it does stand up pretty well. The legs are also pretty beefy, and it's got pretty big feet as well too, so I think it probably helps it to kind of stay planted. The kit's pretty solid. So you can actually have it standing up on its own, although it definitely is in the danger of falling backwards, I feel like. A really cool kit to build, very unique, and it really kind of reminds me a lot of the Moon Gundam in ways too, in that it's quite large for one, pretty packed with a lot of detail, a good amount of detail in there, and also sort of mixes a little bit of like EFSF and Xeon kind of design qualities a little bit in there, so it kind of mirrors the Moon Gundam a lot in those ways, but it's a really cool kit. It's just unfortunate that this one is not publicly widely available and that it came out as a P-Bandai kit, because it's really quite unique and very cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at it in closer detail here. But I'll first off just say that while there is a lot to like about this kit, there's a lot to dislike about this kit. And I went ahead and went for the Hades mode stickers, so all these would be gold, but if you wanted the non-Hades mode active version, you use these gray stickers instead, so you can choose between that. And then of course for the clear part for the visor, the Hades mode version of that is in red. You also have a clear blue visor if you prefer for that. As for our accessories included here, we've got the shield, which also is pretty sticker heavy. All the red and black bits you see in there is all stickers. The white parts here for the shield, that's all stickers. So it's basically just one big piece there with a connection piece for the most part there for the shield. Great detail on there, just unfortunately not very good color separation. And we've got the beam rifle, which is also just all molded in one color. I almost kind of wish we did have some more stickers for this one, just to give it a little bit more color separation. I do like the design. It's pretty weird design, pretty interesting design. We do have one little sticker there for the camera lens on that. Otherwise, it's just basically two halves sandwiched together there. And you do have a molded panel line which goes around here and saves you the trouble of the seam line that you have to remove on most of the rifle, except for right here on the top of the camera. You will have a seam there that you'll have to remove. And otherwise, this just fits into the hand as normal. As far as our hand options for this kit, what you see on there, that's all you get, just those regular standard holding hands, and that is all. Then we've got our 4 clear yellow beam saber effect parts for the beam saber handles, which are stored there in the forearms, and also these bigger ones up here on the backpack as well too, which we'll take a look at in just a second. And you also have a action base adapter for this, because it's a pretty big boy. You have a actual action base adapter rather than just like a 3mm hole up there underneath the waist. Also, you've got a sticker there as well too, which kind of gets in the way of this detail of that. So this action base adapter will plug up right into kind of like the back end of that vent detail up in there. And you've got 2 of these long wires for all of the funnels here on the back. 6 of these. Now the manual just tells you to cut the wire as you choose, so you have the option of how you might want to, or how long you want to make those. But these have a little hole right up in there that you can plug this wire onto that, and then have these shooting out of the backpack. And I'll show that to you guys in use here in just a little bit, but that works pretty well. The wire should be plenty strong enough. These hardly weigh anything, so you should be able to pose those without too much issue. Now, as for the kit itself, let's take a look at this, because the unique design of it, I think, is where it really shines the most. So you got this head here, which of course is similar to the Pale Rider's head, but it's got a much more bulkier look. You have this very Xeon style antenna up here on the front instead of your typical V-fin. Of course, gold stickers there. Any bit of like a gold or white on here mostly is all stickers that you can see. So the head articulation will go only up to about there, which is not very much, unfortunately, and then down to there. And then around here on the back, you got some more stickers there, and the gold part up inside of there as well too. Again, just kind of very Xeon style looking head design here, isn't it? Just with a Gundam face, basically. We do have some ab crunch here in the stomach. It will move forward and back like that. You got some rotation here in the midsection, but not any like side to side bend at all. The piping parts, again, very Xeon-esque there around the midsection. Those aren't going to get in the way of anything, so those are just kind of there, so don't need to worry too much about those. Our shoulders will swing out to the front a little bit there like that. You can move the shoulder armor up, and that all sort of unfolds here for your sub arms for holding on to the beam saber handles here to have 4 beam saber handles, or 2 or 1, however you might want to use those, but the sub arms will move up, and the whole arm can be rotated here at the base, so like where that connects into the shoulder, and you got the little finger parts there at the end that will open up to hang on to the beam saber handle. And then this little flap here at the top of the arm will lift up, and you're able to bring the arm up to, well, it seems about there is going to be the limit of that, which is like not even 90 degrees, which is a little bit disappointing. But then the arm is just going to rotate at the top there like usual. You've got a double joint here in the elbow for a nice full elbow joint bend there. Here on the back of the arm, you can see where the shield is going to plug into right there on the back of the arm. Like I mentioned before, your beam saber handles are stored right here in the forearm. You should be able to pull that out without too much issue. Pop that back into place there. The wrist just on a ball joint there, of course. You do have a little bit more articulation in that the whole front of the forearm will move a little bit like that there as well too, so that has a little bit more range of movement. The front skirts are molded together, but you could clip those apart for a separate movement if you prefer. The side skirts also move up and down just on a ball joint there, so you can kind of move those around, but as you do, I feel like those can probably pop out of there pretty easily, so just be careful moving those. The back skirt on this one can also move up and down a little bit there as well too, if you care about having a little bit of articulation to your back skirt. Up underneath there is some detail, but it's not, I mean, you have to pan a line and paint that in and everything. The hip joint is on a track, so you can actually bring that farther to the front or back, depending on how you want to adjust the pose. Then of course you can rotate the legs there at the top. You can bring those really far out to the side and pretty far up to the front here as well too. If you swing the hip joint forward and then bring the legs up, it should come up pretty far to the front like that, and then you bend that at your knee joint, which is also double jointed for a nice full bend there, which is nice. This knee armor bit is not separated, so that doesn't move with the knee joint there, unfortunately. It's just stuck to the lower leg. That said, this part here on the back does move a little bit up and down. This thruster part here, you can move that a little bit. Same thing with this little bit of ankle armor here at the back, can also move up and down a little bit. On the front here, you can move that up and down. The foot is all one big chunk, so there's no separate movement of the toe, unfortunately. You can just move the foot all together forward like that, back like that, and should be a little bit side to side here as well too. It's not on a double ball joint. The top joint up inside there is just like kind of a normal polycap hinge, but the bottom one is a ball joint, so you do have a little bit of range movement for that, which should be nice enough. Up underneath the feet there, you can see you got a big gap in the foot there, and then otherwise some nice detail. Then of course going around here onto the backpack, which is kind of its own whole separate thing, so there's a lot going on here. You have these fuel tanks here at the bottom, which can rotate up and down. You can also change the angle of them in and out a little bit like that. And then up here for storing the larger of your beam saber handles, those are just plugged right into there. They should just pop out like that, and then you can plug your beam saber effect part into there. So obviously you can't hold these in the hands. These are only going to be able to be held by the sub arms there up on top, or by, you know, obviously some different mobile suit or something like that, as long as that can fit into the hand. Basically those are just going to stay up there on the racks on the backpack. You could point them up, but I think they're supposed to be I think they're meant to be pointed down, basically just kept down like that. And of course the big kind of like wings here with the funnels attached onto there. I find these to be popping out of the backpack fairly easily. It seems like the peg right here, which connects into the backpack, is kind of short to be plugged into there. So as I'm moving stuff around, these are kind of falling off a little bit too easily. But these can move around. They have a few different points of articulation, how you can move these in and out and turn and rotate them and everything like that. But basically these are just going to be your racks for holding onto these 6 funnels here on the backpack. Now for a size comparison here, it is compared with your standard HG 144 scale Gundam, and as you can see, it's quite a bit taller. So again, it's going to be very similar in size to like the Moon Gundam or the Unicorn Gundam in Destroy mode. I think also probably about a similar height to this, so it's definitely a quite large kit, and especially with all that stuff going on in the backpack, you definitely get a sense of the massive size of this. Alright guys, just to wrap up the review, we'll take a look at some of the different cool action poses that you can do with this, and I gotta say it's a little bit of a mixed bag kit. Obviously on the negative side, very sticker heavy, and of course just the fact that it's a premium Bandai kit going to make it a little bit harder, a little bit more expensive to get. But on the positive side, it's very big, it's got a lot of nice detail on there, it's got a lot of interesting gimmicks in there as well too. Your weapons loadout, I mean basically it's just beam saber, rifle, shield, nothing super out of the ordinary, but the funnels add a really cool aspect to that. The sub arms up on the top of the shoulders is a very unique aspect to that as well too. So you definitely got some really cool stuff going on, and it's certainly going to, I'd hate to kind of keep saying this, but it's a very unique build. It's not quite like anything really that I can think of, just in terms of all the different design features and everything it's got going on there. Just reading up a little bit about the backstory of the development of this on the Gundam Wiki page, you can see like how different parts of this, different aspects of the design are taken from all sorts of different things coming out at the time that this was developed in UC 0090. So it's quite the interesting hodgepodge of engineering that went into the development of this to make a pretty intimidating mobile suit here, one that I have to imagine would have been pretty deadly on the battlefield, just due to everything that's got going on there. I guess it maybe also depends on the pilot, I suppose, but with Hades mode in there as well too, you know, that definitely sort of makes up for that as well. So I mean, I had to imagine it's a pretty awesome mobile suit in universe. It's a shame that we've never seen this animated. Hopefully someday we may see this in some animated fashion. I kind of doubt that, but that would be really cool to see this thing performing in an anime or OVA or something like that. That would be awesome. So anyway, that is going to be it for the time being. What are your guys' thoughts on the kit? Are you guys fans of this mobile suit, of like the other different Pale Rider kits and everything like that? Are you guys collecting them? I know there's some people out there who I hear from you guys that you're like collecting all the different Pale Rider variants and stuff, so I'm assuming you'll want to be picking up this one as well too. What do you guys like or dislike about the kit? Let me know down in the comment section below, and of course, as always, big thank you to USA Gundam Store for making it all possible, guys. Check the link to the site down in the video description. All sorts of Gunpla stuff and everything else you guys might be looking for there on the site, and you can save 10% off everything there, of course, using my coupon code, so check that out. It's all down there in the video description. Thank you so much for all of your support, and until next time, guys, hope you're all having a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.